Okay. Sorry, folks. Welcome back. We've had major internet issues here. We have had our cable modem go down. That had to be shipped out to us. That's why this is not Thursday, but this is we're doing it Friday afternoon, and maybe we'll get it up by Saturday. Anyway, and the other thing is that since we had our problem, I don't know why, but the ATEM mini switcher is not showing up on my computer, and that's where I usually do all my editing. So this is going to be a one camera video. I'm going to shoot the intro. Then I'm going to go set the camera up on the job that we're going to do, and we'll go from there. So you give me a second here. I've got to adjust the camera. I'll be right back. So what you're looking at is the track that I've laid. I've changed the points or switches, depending on what you call them, to a different configuration. I think that it will cause less problems. The major problem I was worried about, and I'm looking at it right now, is the three-way switch, and I have listened to some advice on the internet and found out that these can be very problematic. So let's get at what we're going to do today. So, as I said in the last video, sorry, I'm going to get up here and so I'm up on top and can see what I'm doing. As I said in the last video, we're going to do this in stages. We're going to put each individual in place, and do the infrastructure like track laying and like such, just as a step as we go across from this side of the layout where the hill of sawdust is, which we showed you last week, and we're going to work over here. We got the first building that after it comes out of the out onto the conveyor system, it goes up into a building, and that building sits right here. But first, we've got to do some work on the track. So what we're going to do here is we're going to lay some track. We've laid the track. What I'm looking for is my little, there she is, my little spreader. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab some isopropyl alcohol. Now I've actually painted some of this track because I knew I wanted to get it a little darker than it was. So what I'm going to do first is just wet this down. And I'm not going to do the points or switches. I want to save those for a time that I'm not online showing you stuff, because short shooting, I'll screw something up. So I just laid down a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to pour some Woodland Scenics. No, sorry, it's not Woodland Scenics. It's my own brand of ballast, stuff from the dollar store that I ground up in a coffee grinder. So I'm just going to take this machine. Now the only problem with this machine, I'm going to do this twice. It has a tendency to put out a whole whack of, as you can see, a pile of gravel at the end here. So we now have, it does a wonderful job of ballasting between the tracks, and I'm just taking my finger and trying to get out the few extra bits and pieces that I don't want. Now the second step, of course, is to take the isopropyl again, and just from above, trying not to blow the ballast around. And that's the biggest problem with this activity, is that the ballast can be spread just by the spray action of the isopropyl. So I'm going to do a little bit more, make sure it's good and set. And now, this is a mixture of isopropyl, of water and matte medium, acrylic matte medium. And I got this formula from Boomer Diorama's channel. This is how he puts his track down. I used it somewhere else here, over by the cement plant, and it works a trick. So I just... Now, one of the reasons he uses it is that although it glues everything down, I've got to be careful here because I've... yeah. And I'm just going to run my finger in between the tracks again here, and move the matte medium around a bit. So this. Now down here, right here, there is a, I have cut the ties out from underneath there, and it's so that the rail cars that can come in here can dump. I have wood chip rail cars. I think I have 5 or 6 of them, and so this is open here because this is the building that's going to go in here, and it's going to go right there, I think. Now I have to, the one thing I have to do is this, make sure that that so now we have the building, this building that gathers the wood chips. It's going to go through here. It's going to go into a second building here that sits here, which I'll put in place next week. And we just have to wait for this to dry. So while we're waiting for it to dry, I'm going to glue this building down. Now I'm using, and I have found that if I use super glue on top of the grout, it does a fairly good job of sticking the building down. So I'm just going to put, I've got this is super glue, but it's actually called miter bond, and it's used by carpenters for doing so this will sit here like this, and we'll grab something heavy to stick on top of it. There we go. This building is the repair building for the bulldozers and the heavy equipment. On the mine in Espanola, there is a building right, not right beside, but very, very close to the Sawdust Hill. And I've been on been in the Espanola mill a couple of times when I was delivering equipment for home hardware. So we're gonna stick this one down here too. Now, like I say, this If this was going to be prototypical, the whole mine would just be one long shaft with, I think it's 3 buildings, and then the office building, which I still have to design, is attached to one part of the factory, so they can walk from the office right into the physical mill itself. Now, one of the reasons I didn't show you me putting the track down is because the points went down really well. But this curved track and straight line, it took forever to get right, and so and one of the reasons was that, unfortunately, when I started out doing this model railroad, I bought some Pico track, Pico Code 50 track. Well, it doesn't play nice with Atlas track at all, and I kept trying to put a piece of Pico track down here to connect to the Atlas switch at the end of the line here, and of course it didn't work at all, and I was just, I was beyond frustrated. So I decided I would not record that, because there's no way you want to see an angry Scotsman swearing at stuff because he I'm going to just get this extra hill out of here. I'm gonna scoop that up in a minute with the scraper, but I want to. I'll just do a bit of finger work here to get this done. Now, I know this is not a very exciting thing, but to watch. But it is on the in line with all my other videos, which are basically live videos to an SD card, and then put out on YouTube. I'm just going to get this out of here because I don't want it sticking. I don't want it sticking to the. Come on, be nice. Okay, so all that we're left to do here is to wait for this to dry, which will take overnight, and the building will be set in place. Next week, just let me get this stuff out of the way. We'll be putting in the other track that goes from here, and it will have the same kind of curved track as this one. And then this building goes right there, like that. But I'll be laying the track separately and then dropping the building in place. So just let me go back and set the camera up again for another shot, and we'll call it quits. Okay. This is going to be a little bit more work to edit. I suddenly realized that. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching this week. I know I'm late getting it out. I apologize for that. So I want you to take care of yourself, take care of your family, and remember, it's your railroad and you can build it any way you want. Thanks, and I'll see you next week.